Hello and welcome to our channel. It has now been over 40 years since the legendary singer Elvis Presley lost his life at the age of 42. Yet to this day he is still hailed as one of the greatest and most influential artists of all time. And while on June 24th, Baz Luhrmann's new biopic of the artist will show you just how his career began and the people behind his success, in today's video let us look at what happened after he lost his life. Or how he didn't, as some believe. In the years following the end of Elvis's life, there had been countless conspiracy theories, with which some tried to claim that the hound dog singer was still very much alive. What have been some of the most popular theories? Where has the legendary artist allegedly been seen after he was supposedly buried? And just why have some been convinced that these theories are right? Stay with us until the very end to find out some of the most interesting ways people believe the artist has lived past his 42nd birthday. But before we continue, don't forget to turn on the notifications and subscribe to our channel for more dark stories from the world of entertainment. Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8, 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi. By many, he was known as the king of rock and roll, yet before that, he came from humble beginnings, raised by loving, working-class parents. From an early age, he was raised to have a strong faith in God, and attending church he came into contact with gospel music, which later became a great source of inspiration for him. Elvis had graduated high school in 1953, and he worked a number of jobs while pursuing his musical dream. It was that year that he recorded his demo at what later became known as Sun Studio, and it wasn't long before the owner, Sam Phillips, decided to take him under his wings, with Presley's first single, That's Alright, being released the following year. Over the course of his career, the man became known for such hits as Hound Dog, Jailhouse Rock, Don't Be Cruel, Devil in Disguise, among others. In America alone, he had 150 different albums and singles that had been certified gold, platinum or multi-platinum, and it is estimated that more than 1 billion records have been sold worldwide. Throughout his career, Elvis received 14 Grammy nominations, and his 3 wins were for gospel recordings. Though it wasn't just his music career that was making a lot of noise, as his private life made headlines many times. The legendary singer met Priscilla Wagner in Germany, where he was stationed with the US Army. At the time, she was 14 and he was 24. The age gap did not stop the couple, and the two married 8 years later, in 1967. The pair welcomed a daughter, Lisa Marie, a year later. Their relationship was the cause of controversy over the years, and one that people still talk about to this day. Though that is a topic for another video, and if you would like us to do a deep dive into their relationship, let us know in the comments below. Despite being one of the biggest and most successful artists during his time, Presley had also developed a lethal lifestyle. When not on the road, he spent his time in Graceland, where he lived nocturnally and stuffed himself with greasy foods which caused him to gain weight, as well as a variety of prescription medicine. By the 1970s, to help with his demanding schedule, Elvis had come to rely on substances known as uppers to get him going in the morning and downers to help him relax and sleep at night. The singer actually had near-fatal overdoses at least twice in the 1970s and was admitted to hospitals for exhaustion, which many claimed were actually detoxification. In the last 2 years of his life, he made erratic stage appearances and lived nearly as a recluse. Sadly, it all came to an end on the afternoon of August 16, 1977, when Presley was found unconscious in his Graceland mansion and rushed to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. For those fans of Elvis who were around on that date, then it surely will be a day they will forever remember, as the news had devastated millions of fans around the world. However, mere days after his funeral, some skeptics began speculating that Elvis did not in fact lose his life. And so, despite statements from doctors and a coroner that disputed their claims, the disbelievers were adamant that the singer had faked his death and went into hiding. Though in the decades since his passing, there had been reports of fans across North America who insist that they had spotted Elvis out and about, and as a result of these sightings, in 1989 the Elvis Sighting Society was created. It had monitored and attempted to check and verify these claims. Some had stated that an extra that appeared in the 1990 blockbuster Home Alone was in fact the Jailhouse Rock singer. Though of course, Presley isn't the only celebrity to have been reported to still be alive, as since the passing of James Dean and Michael Jackson, there had been countless conspiracy theories and alleged sightings of them as well. But given that today's video is about Elvis, let us focus on the theories surrounding him. It all started shortly after his passing, with the first sighting occurring not long after. It was with regards to a man who headed to Memphis airport and purchased a one-way ticket to Buenos Aires, Argentina. According to reports at the time, the man in question looked a lot like the pop star and for his booking gave the name John Burroughs, which was allegedly an alias that Elvis had used when booking hotels while travelling. But if it really was him, then how? While throughout the years plenty of people had believed that Presley was alive and that everything was just a cover-up, some had come up with different things that were supposed to back up their claims. And the singer's tombstone was one of them. Some skeptics had stated that Elvis's middle name was purposely spelt wrong, Aaron with 2 A's instead of 1, because putting his real name would have been a taboo thing, given that he was still alive. Though others had pointed out that spelling the name with 2 A's was his genuine middle name, but allegedly he spelt it with 1 because he and his parents had wanted it to be more similar to his stillborn twin, Jesse Garon. And to that, some of those who debunked the theory also added that later on in life the king went back to spelling it as it was styled on the tombstone. There had also been some who carefully paid attention to the artist's friends and family when they gave interviews, and it was one such alleged slip-up that people used as proof that he did not pass away. In a 2005 interview with Oprah, Presley's ex-wife Priscilla had spoken about the singer and their daughter, and at one point skeptics believed that she had said, "It's exactly what he said the other day," before she promptly corrected herself by saying, "You said," to the host. They had also claimed that during a 2003 Larry King interview, when his daughter Lisa Marie had evaded the question if she ever felt communications with her father, was proof that he was still around. There are also those who believe that the star had ties to the government and in one way or another. According to a post on the site elvisisalive.com, the king of rock and roll had met with then President Nixon in 1970, and the two bonded over their shared views against communism and use of illicit substances. This had led some theorists to believe that the president had decided to make Presley a special agent in what we know now as the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, and that the man's task was to secretly help the government combat the use of illegal substances. But politics aside, some also had believed that the man went into hiding to save his life and his passing was to throw people off. In 1994, a group called the Presley Commission claimed that a wax dummy was buried inside the man's coffin. They were convinced that the king was being haunted by the mafia, more on that in a moment, and so, in order to escape, he chose to go into witness protection program. While some questioned how the wax figure did not melt, the conspiracy group had stated that it was being kept cool in the coffin for an elaborate ruse that involved hidden fans and dry ice. And while there had been plenty of people who have believed these theories, the alleged sightings of Elvis over the years have only solidified their belief. We have already mentioned the Home Alone extra many believe to have been the star, but when else did people allegedly spot him? Now, besides the aforementioned airport sighting, the year the singer passed away, there was another one, and it revolved around a photograph that was rumoured to have been taken on December 31st, 1977. The man behind it was Mike Joseph, who was visiting Graceland with his family and who allegedly captured Elvis sitting in his pool house. However, in a later interview with Larry King, Joe Esposito, the singer's road manager and friend, declared the person wasn't the artist but Presley's personal aide, Al Strada. But there have also been sightings in more recent days. Back in 2017, a photo had appeared on the Elvis Presley is Alive Facebook page that showed a man at Graceland with a white beard and accompanied by security personnel who fans speculated was Elvis, who at the time would have been around 81 years old. And while several YouTube conspiracy theory videos had reported on the man with grey hair and a ponytail and alleged that people who worked at Graceland confirmed that it really was the singer, there were many who weren't convinced, and not long after, the rumour was debunked. A video appeared on the platform that showed the man with a young blonde woman who said, "Okay, hi everybody, this is the famous groundskeeper that everyone thinks is Elvis. I found him here in Memphis." She also added that his name is Bill, while the man interjects saying that he is not really 81. Over the decades, there had also been alleged sightings in Russia, pre the Chernobyl disaster, a supermarket in a small town in Michigan, as well as a Burger King in another town near it. Some also believe the singer was taken in a helicopter from Graceland to Bermuda to live out his life there, as he was tired of the fame. The Elvis is alive phenomenon has been so vocal that over the decades that in 2002 a movie titled Bubba Hotep was released, and which was based on an Elvis isn't dead theory. It tells the story of an elderly Elvis in a nursing home in East Texas who has to help save the other residents from a vengeful mummy. So while many of the conspiracy theories had either been debunked or some just downright dismissed, what is one of the most popular reasons that people believe the rock and roll icon had faked his passing? Well, if the countless conspiracy theories are to be believed, it was to hide from the mob. Gail Brewer Giorgio, an author of the 1988 best-selling book Is Elvis Alive?, spoke about this in an interview with Time. She had said that the FBI enlisted Presley as an undercover agent in '76 to help the agency infiltrate a crime organization called the Fraternity, which was apparently made up of a dozen of racketeers. The Hound Dog singer had allegedly volunteered out of his love for America and respect for the FBI, though, as Brewer Giorgio went on to add, when Elvis was found out to be a mole, he was then put into witness protection and that the organization had evidence of that in their documents. Now, the FBI did not immediately comment on this decades-old claim that the woman talked about in her book, but later it was revealed that in the 760 files the federal agency has that were released and that pertain to the singer between '56 and the '80s, there is no mention of him aiding the FBI. And if you are wondering why they even had files on him to begin with, it is not because he was investigated, but because he had been the target of several extortion attempts the agency had looked into. And while the released documents outline the extortion cases, they also show Presley's admiration for the FBI. During a tour Presley took of the FBI's headquarters in 1971, the musician spoke favorably of the bureau and offered his services in any way, which some believe might have been the reason for these theories. While conspiracy theories around different topics such as presidential elections, vaccines, 9/11 and nothing new, experts claim that they are not the same as those of celebrities being alive. Some had argued that when it comes to conspiracies surrounding things like the elections, it is a way for some people to further voice their displeasures at the government or to try to get a political point across. Now, when it comes to the passing of stars, Dr. Michael Wood, who is a lecturer specializing in the psychology of conspiracy theories at the University of Winchester, had commented that for the most part it is just wishful thinking. He argued that if someone is a fan of a celebrity and they admire them, it could be as simple as the idea that they just don't want to come to terms with the fact that they are no longer alive. And that is also one of the main reasons he claims many believe that the king is still alive. Though some fans of the late singer who wholeheartedly disagree with the conspiracy theorists criticize them, stating that such claims do nothing but hurt Presley's family. Many agree that claims that the singer is alive is a disservice to the man's family, especially his daughter, who many pointed out had to spend most of her life having to hear all these claims and allegations of how her father had conned everyone and was in fact still alive. So what are your thoughts on all these theories? Do you believe in any of them? Do any of them even seem plausible to you? Can you imagine the singer actually faking his own death? And in your opinion, have these theories done more harm than good? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel for more dark and fascinating stories from Hollywood.